Welcome to the Therapist After Dark podcast. Ever wonder what happens when the therapy session is over? Well, we're digging into the funny, heartwarming, and surprising stories therapists have after they leave the office. Join us, two mental health professionals, every week for a dose of laughter, a touch of drama, and maybe a few shocking revelations, because therapists are people too. Amazing. Hi, Angela.
Here we are for another episode.
Woo! Back in action. I'm so excited to be here. Really because for me, I have been coming off of a month and a half of visitors. It has
Yeah.
been just nonstop with the friends and family. And today, Eric's side of the family just left literally hours ago. And yeah, it's been just a really wild adventure of delight. Boy, am I exhausted. How are
Yeah.
you doing?
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also what makes being a therapist and a coach in summer kind of hard, especially living in a place where everyone likes to visit
Yeah, I know.
a lot, you know? Um, but yeah, I'm busy, but in a different way, I guess. I'm moving. So that's my, I guess if you want to call it a kerfuffle, it's a good kerfuffle. But moving never fun. Um, So yeah, just kind of getting all my ducks in a row, trying to
Yeah.
figure out.
Are you gonna do it all on your own, or are you gonna like hire movers?
I, of course, want to try and do it all on my own.
Oh,
I know. That will be determined. I'm really trying to like not get ahead of myself. Like I have a plan for today, I have a plan for Sunday, and then kind of just from there building on the plan and seeing how things go.
mm-hmm.
So answer that question to be determined.
I feel like once I hit a certain age, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I've even though like sometimes hiring movers is so expensive or it can get really expensive, right? Unnecessarily. I'm just like, I just cannot, like, it is worth the expense to me to hire people to help me move my stuff because I've just done it so many times. I just can't do it.
Yes and no. I mean, actually, because you used to live below me many moons ago, but I feel like getting a moving company to that busy street, oh my God, that would freak me out even more. So
Oh, fair point, fair point. It was pretty stressful, but it all worked out.
yeah.
Somehow like the street opened up that day that you needed it. Like, you know what I mean? It was so bizarre.
Didn't move out in the middle of summer.
I know that's true. You are moving in the middle of summer, so you're right. Uh,
But
uh
with that, yeah, just
yeah.
trying to find like the brain space, for my daily clients and stuff like that, or weekly clients. So that's my kerfuffle.
Yeah, I mean, something that's like been a kerfuffle for me is I'm so like hands-on in my business. So for the last, especially the last week, because we went to Maine and we did all these things with Eric's side of the family. And then a week before that, it was our friends are in town for Folk Fest. And then a week before that was my family. So like the last month, I really have not been able to like put my hands and energy into my business the way that I typically would. And I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing. It feels so weird to like not, especially when you're, kind of like a one woman show and like your business is you. It feels so weird to not really be pouring energy into it and actually having to take a break, from doing something that I've been doing every day for the last, however many years. So that's been kind of weird. Boop, boop,
Yeah,
boop.
how does it feel going back into it?
Well, I really don't go back. Like if my first client after about a week and a half is on Sunday. And I think even just doing this podcast and starting to look a little bit more at some of like the behind the scenes stuff is helping me kind of slowly transition into work mode again, which is
Yeah,
nice because I missed it. I love my job, I love my career, I love doing this work. So
yeah.
it feels weird to take a break. Yeah, just in general.
So just for clarification, did you take a break from clients for how long?
I mean, if I'm honest, I trickled down to probably like one or two clients over the like a week over the last like month or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it really has been significantly less. And then the last week, I didn't see anybody. I haven't seen anybody for probably about 7 days. Yeah, I think it's been a full week. So, yeah, that just feels very foreign. It's unless I'm like summering in Greece or like if unless I'm like actually traveling, it feels really foreign. But like it feels weird to be in my house and be like, my office is right there. I could go there, but I can't because my family's in town and all these things, which has been
Right.
such a blessing, you know, that we had so many wonderful visitors. And I'm also really feeling blessed that they are gone so I can get back to like the normal day to day.
Yeah. And then soon you're off to France, right?
Soon then I'm off to France. I know it's so crazy. We're about a month out at this point. Um,
Any
and
spots available?
we still have about like two spots left
Oh,
that were open for like, you know, a new faces or whatever. But for the most part, like everything is like, you know, being buttoned up and tied in a bow like at this stage and it's getting really exciting right now. So, yay, France.
yeah, that's exciting.
It is really exciting.
For those who don't know, Brittany and I don't know who you're co-hosting with.
Her name's Leah. Yeah.
Brittany and Leah are hosting a woman. Is it a woman's only retreat?
Yeah, it's a woman's leadership retreat. Yep.
Powerful woman retreat. Wow, in
Mhm.
France.
Woo!
So give her a
September.
call.
Yep.
Two more spots.
If you are like kind of if you have the feeling or the mood that you wanted to kind of be a part of a retreat or go on like a solo travel that felt a little bit more contained, like this is like one of those places to do it. It's going to be so fantastic. And if you are interested in that, because you do, like Angela kind of prompted me, we do have a couple spots left. Feel free to reach out and we can talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, I'm so excited. I just like can't wait to travel. You know, back to Europe. I love Europe so much. Ugh. Hmm.
So it was a hard adjustment when you come back.
I know, right? You're like, the States, like this is weird.
Yeah,
Um, we had our event was that last week?
I think so.
I think
Again, time flies by in the summer, but I'm pretty sure it was last. Yes, it was last week.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was last week. Yeah, last Thursday, Wednesday, last Wednesday. Yeah,
yeah.
whenever that was. It was like a week and a half ago. Anyway, and it was really lovely. Like we got some more new faces that came out. And we actually have a couple questions that were kind of gathered from the conversations that we had. And was there anything that stood out to you as far as this particular event, like this one versus the last one?
Um, Maybe not particular to this event, but again, the diversity of where everyone kind of works. You know,
Hmm.
their realm
Yeah.
of her. Yeah,
Yeah,
excited.
professionals. Yeah, we had
Yeah,
an astrologist this time, who's building her business. We had a wealth empowerment coach, and then we also had a brand new therapist. And it was just so cool to have the conversations. And I think part of the consistent theme was from each of the participants, like afterwards, after the fact, was like, wow. Like I got so much information, like I really felt seen. It was nice to be around women who understand what I'm moving through and all of these things. So if you are in the area or interested in this as well, like we'll have another one next month in September. TBD, but we're thinking probably late September, obviously.
yeah.
And it should be just like, oh wait, did we miss August?
We didn't. Yeah, well, because we did it right at the end of July.
That's right. What is time? I've been in a vortex. Okay, so we're gonna have another one at the end of this month, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so we're in August. We're gonna have another one at the end of August, and we'll pick the date pretty soon, unless we already did. I don't remember if we had.
I'll check our notes, but
Oh, goodness, girl. I appreciate you putting up with me. This brain sometimes. And it'll be at the same place. I think we're gonna still do it at Newport Craft. But
yeah,
again, you'll check our social media and we'll give you all the details for that soon.
yeah. So just to touch on, so you said one of the people there last time was a brand new, fresh therapist.
I love it.
Um, yes. And I guess it wasn't too long since I've been there, but it was really cool to have someone who just kind of has started in the field on their own.
Yeah.
Um, and so a few of the questions in our question and comment jar were around that. So I think maybe that's something we could focus on today.
Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so we have right here, she just put a little bullet point. She said, first year as a therapist. Why are you laughing? What comes to mind?
I know. I was just thinking, it's like, man, it just like I think it floods me with so many memories. That first year is just so funny. Like the juxtaposition between like trying to own your confidence and like being like, I know what I'm talking about, and then also being scared shitless, like truly, because you really don't know that much. Is such an interesting kind of like realm to plan. And did you feel that too, like when you were coming up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, I think you and I, and then this other person that wrote this comment, I think all three of us started in some type of like group private practice where we were just given clients,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, that range from like age, gender, just problems, like everything. So
Right.
you're kind of just getting thrown in there.
Yep.
And it's really just about like trying to find your feet with all these different people.
Totally, totally. Well, it actually makes me think of like back in the day, I didn't know that I was going to be specializing in relationships. I didn't know I was going to be specializing in like narcissistic stuff and like couples
Right.
and like helping people heal from that. And helping people learn how to date better. Like I didn't know that that was going to be the realm. And it's so funny when I think about it, I was like, I don't even know, like, I don't know if that shifted until probably like 3 or 4 years in was when I
Yeah.
finally decided or figured out like, oh, I'm really good at this. So I really love this and I'm going to choose this. But up until about, like 3 or 4 years into my career as a therapist, shoot, I was seeing like all like kind of exactly like what she said, just all over the gamut. And I was open too, and that's
Right.
exactly kind of what she reminded me of was that openness to like whatever kind of happens, happens. I'm just here to kind of ride it out, figure it
Mhm.
out.
Yeah, and I can really resonate with that too, because same with me. Like it was the same, like I just kind of got a plethora of like everything, of experiences. And it really was until 3 or 4 years in where I kind of started to focus on exactly what I or where I want to go.
Yeah.
And I never thought it would be centered around strictly around like anxiety and OCD.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. So that makes me think like what happened like in the beginning when you started to maybe discern between like what you liked and what you didn't like. Was there ever a time where you'd get a client who had like who had a problem, like their identified problem was something that you actually really hated or disliked working with? And like did you try to, when you're especially when you're new, it's not like you can just give your clients away. Like how did you handle that? Do you remember?
Um, Well, luckily I had a great boss. So I feel like I was able to go to my boss and say like, "Hey, this client really isn't my cup of tea," and then she would help me kind of strategize how to work through this client and kind of get them, get them out the door, maybe to someone better,
Yeah.
or someone who fit their needs more. And honestly, I would be pretty transparent, especially if they were younger. If they were like older, I would be a little more afraid to be transparent. But if they were younger, I'd be like, listen, like this isn't really my wheelhouse. I'm willing to help if we want to do this together. Obviously, it's always we're doing this together. Um, just letting them know that it's not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah,
that will stay most of the time because
right, because you're honest and you're authentic and, that makes people feel safe,
and
right?
the door and right, and if so it gave them that permission from early on, like, hey, if this isn't working for you, like the door is wide open,
Yeah,
you
you can leave.
know. Don't let the door hit your way out.
The door is open. Bye-bye. You can leave. Yeah. I like how you said that in the nicest, sweetest way possible, but really, you can kick rocks. Um, it's so funny because yeah, like at the time I didn't know it was an option for me to give away clients, right? I didn't know it was an option for me to like not be good at a specific ailment, right? I thought like it was important for me to be good at all of it, right? And
Yeah.
so even if it was something I didn't really like, I remember just trying to like process it a lot in group, and just like do my best to learn as much about it, just because I didn't necessarily feel like, because I would say the majority of the things that I don't like, or the ones that I felt like I couldn't solve very well. And so it
Right.
was a lack of understanding it versus it being that I just hated that thing. And so I would just work really hard on trying to understand it better and finding different tools. And I think you and I can really relate on this aspect. Like we're very creative people. So like it almost
Mhm.
presented a challenge, like how can I be the most creative in this process? So that it's fun for me and a little bit more palatable
Yeah.
as I'm navigating something that I don't really like to do. And then it wasn't until like, a few years ago, longer than a few years ago, but like that I really decided that, oh, I can actually choose who I want to work with. And I
Mhm.
just don't think that that's really an option you get when you're working for a community center or,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I
Or
mean?
even group practice
Or
for the
group
most part.
practice. Yeah.
But
I'll
it
never,
is,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, it is
Yeah.
a beautiful way to kind of learn what works with you and what doesn't work with you.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like life in general, right? Like when we're younger, when we're young adults, teens, whatever, we're still taking in a lot of information. We're kind of open. We may date the wrong people. We may like have the wrong friendships, but then over time we kind of learn like who are our people, who do we want to be around, who do we feel like actually makes us better, and I think just like therapy is a mirror for a healthy way of living. It's kind of it's the way that I've always interpreted it. I feel like the relationships that you can have with your therapist are the relationships that you should mirror in your other relationships. And so it is like a learning process for you and for the therapist getting to know you and for us getting to know whatever you're suffering from. Yeah, I don't know why I felt like I needed to add that little sprinkle in there, but I did.
If you're a coach.
Ding ding ding. Um,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. So what questions did she put in the jar?
Um, okay, so then with that one, there was politics and therapy and social media and therapy,
Ooh,
TikTok therapists.
ooh, ooh.
Ooh, those are scary ones. I don't know. First off the bat, and you could tell me if you agree with this or not, but politics and therapy, no.
Yeah, no,
No.
not at
No.
all.
You want to go talk about politics? I don't know, go to a local meeting with your party. I don't know.
My favorite is when my clients will assume that they understand or know my political affiliation
Mhm.
based off of my ethnic background and being a woman. And so
Mhm.
they'll just like, and honestly, that's not me saying that I'm the other side. I just think it's interesting that people just assume that they know how I am politically or what my thought processes are, and they try to assume or guess for me. Like they'll,
Mhm.
they I don't know, the universal you will come out, or I don't even know how to explain it. Like they'll be talking to me, but like about me in session.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And like, and you just keep a blank face and you're like, all right, whatever you need to think, whatever. I don't need to answer this.
Mhm.
But it is funny when it gets brought up. But I don't really like, I don't, mm, I don't really respond to political conversations. I
Okay.
allow them to share, but I'm not like really responding. I'm just holding space for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and so they don't really get much from me one way or the other. So eventually they just change the topic.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, it's more about why are you bringing this up and stuff like that, not really like the context of what you're bringing up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny because I do the same thing in other circles as well.
Right.
Unless I'm really, really, really like if it's like really close friends and I'm really have a strong opinion, then I'm going to tell you.
Right.
But for the most part, if people are talking politics around me and I'm just like, okay, like, do we really
Yeah.
need to talk about this? I just go back to my therapeutic roots and I just sit there and I listen.
Yeah, so no room for politics at the dinner table or at the therapy office.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can leave that,
Next.
you can leave that where you leave it. That's fine.
Yeah, leave it at the door. Uh,
And don't let it kick you on the way out.
and that door, yes, is completely wide open as well. Right. Okay. Social media and
Mm.
therapy. TikTok therapists.
Ooh. Okay, so let's talk about like the holistic psychologist. Most people know of her, right?
Oh, yep.
And she is a psychologist. She's a practicing clinician, I'm pretty sure.
She's a
Um,
yeah.
Now she's like an author and like all these other things. So she may have diversified her career at this stage, considering her fame.
Mhm.
But she's been very helpful to a lot of people. So I
I agree.
think, and I don't know much about her, right?
You got to read her book, her first book.
Well, I'm sure I would if I read her book, but I'm saying as far as like social media goes, I don't know much about her.
Right. It's not really okay. Go ahead.
Which is why I think that the way that she's doing it is actually really great if for the
I
therapy
agree.
world, because I don't know much about her from her social media platform. Now, if I decide to buy her book, that's a whole different story. But I think it's important in the therapeutic world because, again, the person who asked this question is a young therapist. Like, if you're going to use social media, then use it for what you feel like you specialize in, but don't showcase a lot of your life, because that's just kind of already setting your clients up to perceive you in a specific way that may or may not be real.
Right. Right. Yeah, I definitely so with the holistic therapist, right? Which again, it's very blank slate. It's very like I don't want to say like matter of fact, right? It's not all this fluff. It's just straight to the point, and it's a great like they're great points to expand on.
Hmm.
And then so that I feel like that's one side of the spectrum, one end of the spectrum, and then the other end of the spectrum, I feel like there's other therapists who do like in between session, and it's more about like lifestyle, you
Hmm.
know. Um, and that's cool too. It's just a different approach. But then now you're really letting people into your life.
Right. Well, I mean, coming from someone who couldn't even wear nail polish because she was afraid that her clients would perceive her as differently, I just feel like, yep, see, exactly. Even right now, you have clear nail polish on. I don't think it would be that appropriate for like I didn't actually start doing social media stuff until I became a coach, and I knew that it was safe for people to know about my life because they were hiring because I had a solution, not because I was a therapist helping them heal their own problems. They're hiring me because I have a solution for their
Right.
problem. And so they want to know it feels safer to hire me knowing that I'm a real person. It doesn't necessarily feel safe to hire a therapist knowing that they're a real person. Because if you actually knew the therapist's lives behind the scenes, you might be like very turned off by who they are. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they couldn't help you. And I feel like that's one part of this, like the reason, again, this podcast exists is for that very reason, is that we're very human. And yet at the same time, we can create these containers that are very what's a word like I want to say sanitized. I don't mean sanitized at all, but it's just like they're very clear. So that way, like, you don't see us in your time in the space.
Right.
Um, Also think that honestly, like therapy now is so different from therapy then. And I think that social media actually might be, like we talk about this idea of authenticity. I feel like
Mhm.
people actually want to know their therapists. I think more people want to know like that the therapists are actually good people. And
Yeah, I
so
think that's fair.
yeah, so I see the benefit of it, absolutely. And I think again, different strokes for different folks. The people who want to be with you and don't care that you're on social media sharing your life outside of therapy sessions or sharing tips about the therapeutic process or whatever, then they're going to want to choose you regardless. Um,
Yeah.
But the ones who don't, who want like a more of a stoic kind of like a blank slate sort of approach,
Mhm.
they probably wouldn't, you're probably going to isolate some people in that capacity if that's important to you. That's
Right.
my thought,
Yeah.
my two
Yeah.
cents.
Yes. I don't know. I think overall, it can actually be a helpful tool.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, I don't see anything on my social media that's like over the top or crossing the line. And I feel like I follow a lot of therapy pages on my therapy page, you know?
Yeah, totally. But would you choose a therapist who was highly, like heavily on social media for yourself?
If I like them, yeah, it wouldn't deter me from it. If I thought they were a good fit.
Yeah. I mean, like
And it could, mhm.
neither would I. Like if I had the ability to hire the holistic psychologist to help support me, I'd be like, yes, please take
Yeah,
me. That's great. You know, or whatever. I wouldn't deter me. And I think that that's a question for you as like listeners, either as a professional, I think I may have said this on this podcast before, but so I used to be a bartender years ago. And as a bartender, I realized that like even though the drinks were like the same, I would make the drinks how I like them. So
mm,
I'm a lot like that as a therapist, like, and as a coach, like I coach people the way that I would want to be coached
yeah,
because it feels supportive to me. And so it wouldn't bother me that someone's on social media. Obviously, I'm all over social media, so there's that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but other people may not feel that way. So like if that's a question that you have, should I use it? Should I not use it? Well, what would help you hire your
right.
therapist, you know? And then just go
Mhm,
from there. If you
mhm,
would mind it, then there are lots of other people who wouldn't mind it and just like be yourself, be authentic to it. Now, if you would mind it, then maybe you should hold off from using social media as like a platform for you.
exactly. Yeah,
Just my thoughts. Just
yeah,
my thoughts. What else is
yeah.
she? Oh, go ahead.
As for like whether it's gonna like hinder or harm your practice, I don't think it would
Yeah, me
these
neither.
days.
Me neither. Because again, you're trying to attract the clients that are the best for you
Right,
into your practice. So
right.
like the more authentic you are to that, the better clients that you'll have.
Mhm. For you.
Yeah, for you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Did she have another question on there?
Nope. Those are the 3 points on that.
What was the third?
It was first year therapist, politics and therapy, social media and therapy. Those are the three.
Oh, okay. So we had kind of already touched on the first year in therapy. I
Mhm.
didn't know that that was a question. I thought,
Sorry. Oh man.
oh goodness, that's so funny. Yeah. Oh, good. Good, good, good. What do you have going on for the rest of this? What do you have going on this weekend? Anything fun?
A wedding to go to.
Oh, right. Okay. Very
Yeah.
nice. Where is it? Is it in Jersey?
No, it's in Rhode Island and it's people I don't know. I'm not gonna know anyone there, besides my date. But so it's just another opportunity for people to ask me, what do you do? And I have to tell them I'm a therapist. And oh,
Maybe, maybe you should bring around the stickers and just pass them out. You want to know what I do? I have this podcast and it'll tell you everything that I do. It'll tell you everything about me, pretty much.
yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just make something up.
So funny. Sometimes it just feels better doing that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I
Yeah.
just don't want to deal with the conversations.
Mhm.
Yeah. Uh, I'm excited about this weekend because I'm going to rest. I'm going to sleep. That's
Oh,
pretty
I was
much
like,
all
where's
I'm gonna
that? Where's rest? Where?
Rest is right here in my house. Like I don't plan on leaving really. I'm
Mhm.
just going to exist this week.
Mhm.
And I'm
That's
really
nice.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Because I actually go to Denver in like 4 days or something.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I know. I know. That's okay. It's all great.
So you're gonna have yourself a slug weekend.
Yes, exactly. I gotta rest and restore so that I
Yeah.
can continue to be of service and of
Yeah.
support to not just my clients, but also to my friends and family. And yeah, I think that that's like such an important part. Like, even though sometimes life kind of like what's happening right now for both of us, where life kind of gets carried away and like there's like a lot expected of us in a very short duration. like I think life just kind of it goes like in these ebbs and flows. And so right now I'm in this like ebb where or I guess is an ebb or it's a flow. It's a flow. There's like a lot going on. There's a lot of movement, and I have to find ways to rest when I can, knowing that eventually it's gonna get slower again, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna have more spaciousness and I'll wonder like, what do I do with my hands? So I just try to like, go moment by moment the best that I can. I used to get really anxious though. It's funny how I've
Wow.
shifted that anxiety. I was
Mhm.
really anxious because I had this perfectionist,
Mm.
like I wanted to make sure that everything was perfect and that everybody had what they needed and that it all looked perfect and it all went smooth. And I tried to control everything
Yeah.
when I decided that that wasn't really helpful for me or for my family or friends.
No.
Go.
The only thing you need to control is your nervous system. That is all.
Yes. Mic drop. Boom.
Mm.
And we're out. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for another great episode.
Yes. We will be back sometime soon. I don't know. I feel like we're doing this a little bit more um random and periodically just because, we're busy.
Yeah. See. See.
So we'll be
Well,
back soon.
we'll be back soon. And we appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you so much for rating us and for leaving us your feedback and your comments. And again, check out our social media page, share our page with your therapist or with your therapeutic friends. And not even just your therapist, with your astrologist, with your chiropractor, we're just it's so interesting to connect and gather with other providers who are helping people and supporting people
Mhm.
in this way. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yep.
And toodaloo.
All right. Till next time.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
We hope that you enjoyed the peek behind the therapy room curtain. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast. Until next time, remember, life's a journey, even for your therapist. Take care and see you next episode.